guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna be talking about my experience with the iPhone 15 Pro Max since I first got it. Originally, I don't know if you guys know, but in the past I ended up buying the iPhone 15 Pro instead of the 15 Pro Max, which at first was a bit of a mistake, I think. When I first bought it because I enjoyed the form factor and the size, because the 15 Pro Max was a little bit too big, or that's what I thought. But the battery in that phone wasn't good at all, and after using it for such a long time, I really grew tired of having to charge my phone so often, and it became a little bit annoying throughout my day. So I decided to sell it and get the Pro Max instead, and since I got it, it has become a complete game changer. This phone to me has been easily the best phone of the year, and I've been enjoying using it every single day as my main phone. Even though it's a lot bigger than the 15 Pro, it's something that I got used to it very quickly due to the rounded corner and the titanium frame, making the phone feel a lot smaller than it actually is. So saying this phone has been everything to me, from my camera to record content for my YouTube channel. It has been my note-taking device. I do a lot of scripting here, photo editing, everything you can imagine in terms of content creation work I do on my phone, and it has been beyond flawless. And I'm here to tell you my experience in all those major points and how it has been throughout my ownership so far, and if you guys should still consider it till today, which I think you definitely should. It's probably the best phone in the market right now. I know it's something that is debatable because some people prefer Android, which is totally fine. And even though I've used an iPhone 15 Pro Max, I really like the S24 Ultra. But to me and my workflow and how I use my phone, plus I have all these Apple devices here, it's really difficult for me to consider something else since everything works very well within the ecosystem. But yeah, let's start with the review and start with the first topic. The design of iPhones have remained largely unchanged for several years already, which is consistent with Apple's approach to all of their products. Contrary to what many people say or think, I appreciate that viewpoint quite a lot. I enjoy seeing a product design language refined incrementally each year rather than undergoing major changes yearly. This method enhances the branding of a product that has been beautifully engineered to be what we know iPhones are today. This approach has now been adopted by most phone brands, which annually refine their hardware to present the best version of their brand. And in my opinion, Apple has achieved this beautifully with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, since it has become my favorite iPhone design ever. It's not a coincidence that other phone brands have adopted the titanium frame design for their flagship models, which I know is not necessarily a decision made because of Apple, but they're taking a similar approach to their current tech, which is actually a good thing. Not only it makes the iPhone 15 Pro Max feel more premium, but also adds to the durability of the device. But yeah, due to the current build quality and rounded edges and titanium frame, it has been easier than ever to recommend the bigger phone this year. Not to mention the most important part, which is the reason why I switched from the 15 Pro to the 15 Pro Max, is the battery. As you guys have seen, there have been some rumors and leaks already about the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max, and the screen is looking to grow quite a bit. The 16 Pro will be slightly bigger, which means that we can also get a bigger battery with it. The benefit of that obviously is that we'll have the slightly bigger footprint of a phone, but still small and comfortable to manage with one hand. But the 16 Pro Max seems to be enormous. I don't know how they're gonna be able to make it work, but the 16 Pro Max as of now, I love it because of the battery and it's still really good, but if it grows more, it's gonna be too big for most people. The action button was one of those things that once it got announced, I was very excited, mostly because it was the new thing. However, it has remained in the same configuration since day one, which in my case is the camera. It comes in clutch when I need to pull my phone quickly and capture that moment that otherwise could have been lost if I would have triggered the camera the old way. It's not like it's always the reason for that awesome photo, but sometimes it is, and that's enough reason for me to keep it as is. Also, since the iPhone is pretty much my main camera everywhere I go, I like to keep it as convenient as possible, and the action button delivers just that. There's many options out there, and you can be creative on how you use it. There's a bunch of shortcuts you can add with menus and all that stuff, or you can also trigger any app you want from your library. But as for me, I like to keep it simple, and the camera works perfect. Now let's talk about the camera, which is the feature that I use the most on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I think the feature that you guys probably use the most as well. I take tons of pictures during my days, especially with my dog, and I enjoy the quality that this phone delivers, especially this year that went above and beyond with the photos. There are three main focal lengths, as you guys know, but I've been staying within the 24mm range the most. I find that one to be the best looking one in my case, but all three look amazing. One of the highlights from this year is the 5x telephoto, which is exclusive for the 15 Pro Max, unfortunately, and it comes in clutch for those long distance photos or when you want to have a little bit more compression in your shot. The photos for the most part have great colors. If you're the type of person that like to shoot and keep the pictures as they come from your iPhone, I personally like to give them my own twist, and I like to edit them later in Lightroom. So I take all my photos using RAW Max, but if you want to save space and you don't really edit your picture that often, I highly recommend you to use the HEIF Max instead, since you retain the 48 megapixels and you don't have to have that huge of a file if you're not gonna edit them later. Even though if you want to get into photography, or even if you want to take your picture to a little bit of higher level, I recommend you to experiment with RAW Max, because the quality you can get after editing your pictures later is beautiful. The camera this year also has a higher dynamic range, which is very noticeable if you put them side by side with the iPhone 14 Pro. The 14 Pro today still looks really good for pictures and videos as well, but if you put them in situations when you have a dark areas on the photos and then very bright areas on the other side, the camera struggle with highlights, and sometimes you have overblown images in the 14 Pro, something that is now fixed with the 15 Pro lineup. And that's just for the photo side of things. The iPhone 15 Pro Max to me is more than just a photo camera. I use it a lot for video, especially for my YouTube channel. Now we have an amazing feature that is my favorite feature so far for the iPhone 15 Pro lineup, which is the ability to shoot in ProRes. This is pretty much shooting in S-Log 3 for those that are familiar with cameras, and make your videos look in the way that you want. You can change every aspect of the video, from colors from the sky, the ground, your skin tone, the shadows, highlight, contrast, in ways that you couldn't do before in the iPhone 14 Pro. It's such a game changer that when I put them side by side with my FX30, which is the camera that I'm recording right now, sometimes you cannot tell the difference in between both clips, especially for the untrained eye. So if you're not familiar with color grading, even though I am not a pro by any means, you guys need to try it out, because it literally makes your video look so much better, and your phone can be a pro level camera for many cases. As for the battery has been performing great, which is the reason why I sold my 15 Pro originally, because the battery on that phone, it wasn't good enough for me. The 15 Pro Max has been a complete game changer when it comes to all-day battery, and I haven't needed to charge it as much, which is great. I consider myself a heavy user, and even with significant amount of content consumption, social media, and occasional use of my camera, I average close to 8 hours of screen time, which is all I need, honestly. Obviously having more is more than welcome, but it's good enough for now. I haven't dedicated a lot of time into mobile gaming, since my gaming platform of preference is the PS5, but with the new game mode added to iOS, I might give it a try. Also, it's worth pointing out that I've been using the new iOS 18 Beta 1 for a couple of days now in my personal phone, and I've been very surprised on how stable it has been. The battery doesn't seem affected by the beta, which is great, but if I'm being honest, this is the first time in a long time I opt for using the developer's beta on release, just because of the excitement to try all the awesome new features. Although Apple Intelligence is not yet available in the beta, but it should be later on in fall according to Apple. There's a lot of cool things about iOS 18 that I've seen so far. I love the customization with the icons, so you can change them into any color you want. Now you can move the apps whatever you want, which is great honestly for customization. Now you're able to make the iPhone a little bit more of your own, even though I know Android have this for a very long time, but it's really cool that finally came to iOS, since we've been asking for this for a very long time. Also, I've been considering maybe to start covering some of those updates, so let me know if you guys are interested in seeing that in my videos, and I'll probably start making more content in regards to the beta updates as we get them. Okay, so we are about 9 months in. Is the iPhone 15 Pro Max worth it at this point when we're so close to the iPhone 16? Absolutely, but I guess it depends on your needs. Do you want it because it'll make your work more efficient, or because your current phone is due for a replacement? Then sure thing, go for it. As we've seen, yearly upgrades are typically minimal at the stage we are in tech across all the major companies, but if you need the upgrade now, I assure you, you have an extremely capable device that will serve you incredibly well for many years to come. The camera is outstanding, the video capabilities are the best in the market, and the performance is great for games, photos, and video editing. More importantly, it'll receive full AI support in the next few months. Therefore, if the rumors are true about the iPhone 16 Pro, you won't miss much but a new shutter button, bigger screen and phone in general, and likely an improved wide-angle camera, plus maybe some surprises. If this is not important for you, you know exactly what to do. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.